Hello everyone. Today, let's continue the story of the single mother, Diệu Hân. I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks to his father's high-ranking position in the local government, Thái was only detained for a few days before being quickly released. The moment he stepped out of the detention center, his eyes gleamed with hatred and malice. His mind kept replaying the scene of being arrested right in the middle of the street, and it was all because of Taun. If Taun hadn't shown up that day, Thái wouldn't have lost face in front of so many people. That night, Thái returned home with a cold expression. His mother tried to persuade him to let it go, but he replied with a twisted smile. Let it go? Never. I'll make that guy pay dearly. In the days following his release, Thái started gathering his loyal gang members, the same ones who had caused trouble with him at the market before. In a dimly lit room filled with cigarette smoke, Thái slammed his hand on the table, his voice full of venom. Get ready, guys. This time I won't let him slip away. That Taun thinks locking me up was the end? I'll make him wish he was dead. He laid out a meticulous plan. Track Tana's schedule and whereabouts. Stage a fake accident to harm or frame him. If things went south, use his father's connections to distort the truth. Meanwhile, Taun and Han had no idea that a storm was silently brewing. Their lives seemed to have returned to normal after Thai's arrest. Taun kept working as usual, while Han began preparing for a new future with little Tom. But from afar, Thai's watchful eyes followed them like a venomous snake waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As the afternoon sun cast a thin golden glow over the alley in front of Han's house after the rain, Taun stayed a bit longer to chat and check a few things in the yard. Just as he stepped outside to leave, a figure appeared at the alley's entrance. Thai. He wore a white shirt, hands in his pockets, strutting arrogantly as if nothing had ever happened. His eyes burned with a mix of provocation and hatred. Well, look who it is. What are you doing here? Tana's voice was cold, his whole body on alert. Thái smirked. I just want to have a little chat. You were feeling pretty smug last time, huh? Let's see who pays the price this time. He slowly walked closer, deliberately pulling out his phone and turning on the camera right in front of Taun. Relax, I'm recording every second. The moment you lay a finger on me, your life's over. He sneered, dragging out every word like pouring oil onto a fire. Taun frowned, his fists tightening as he tried to stay calm. Put the phone away and leave, Thái. I don't want any trouble with you anymore. But Thái kept advancing, now just an arm's length away. His eyes seemed to dig into Tana's, trying to extract his anger. You think you're tough, huh? You think a few days in jail ends this? I'll ruin your reputation, believe me. He suddenly shoved his shoulder hard against Tana's chest, just enough to make it look like a fight on camera. The phone kept filming, the lens focusing on every twitch of Tana's face. The air grew heavy. Two men stood face to face, one scheming, the other struggling to keep his composure against blatant provocation. Thái was like a poisonous serpent. Every move was calculated. Hit me, Taun. Just one punch and I guarantee. The police will be knocking on your door tomorrow. Can't do it? Then let me help. He shoved Tana's shoulder again, harder this time. Taun gritted his teeth, glaring at Thái. He knew that one wrong move would give Thái the golden evidence he needed to frame him. But Thai's arrogance made his blood boil. You're clever, Thái. But I'm not the fool you can manipulate anymore, Taun said quietly, his voice low and cold. Thái froze for a second, then burst into mocking laughter. Yeah, keep playing the righteous man. Let's see how long you can keep it up. He pushed the phone even closer to Tana's face, ready to capture any slip that could turn the tables. Thái stood with his arms crossed in front of Taun, his phone still recording. The tiny blinking light on it glimmered coldly, like a watchful predatory eye. He circled around Taun like a hunter stalking his prey, his voice syrupy and fake sweet but dripping with venom. Taun, remember the old days? Back when you thought you were hot stuff, so full of promise, thinking everyone respected you. And look at you now. In the end, you're nothing but a failure. Shut up. Tana's voice was low and tense, his eyes beginning to darken. Why shut up? I'm just stating the truth. Thái shrugged with a taunting grin. He stepped closer, lowering his voice and drawing out every word, deliberately digging into old wounds. Your girlfriend, why did she dump you again? Oh right, because you were poor. Dirt poor. She got sick of struggling alongside a guy with no future. So she dumped you and ran off with someone rich, didn't she? His words were like a freezing blade stabbing straight into Tana's heart. Tan clenched his fists so tightly that his knuckles turned white. Seeing this, Tai became even more smug. Look at you now, still broke. Drowning in debt. Anyone can see it just by looking at your face. Who would even bother with someone like you? Shut your mouth, Tai. Tan spoke through gritted teeth, his voice like a storm barely held back. Shut up? I haven't even started yet. Tai laughed sharply, stepping to the left, holding the phone close to Tana's face. You think you're better than anyone? A guy like you. Dumped by your girl, career in ruins, future in shambles. One little push and the whole pathetic facade will crumble. Each sentence was a deeper stab. Tai knew exactly how proud Tan was, and how his emotional scars had never fully healed. But he wasn't done. Seeing Tan still managing to keep his composure, Tai switched tactics. His voice grew colder, and his eyes glinted with genuine malice. Oh, that reminds me. How are your parents these days? He asked slowly. Don't you dare talk about my parents. Tan roared, eyes blazing. Why not? I'm just asking. Tai shrugged innocently, though his twisted grin betrayed his intentions. That family of yours dirt poor. Born into that, and you think you'll ever rise above it? Your dad's a lifelong laborer. Your mom's the kind of pitiful woman anyone can read at a glance. With roots that pathetic, of course your life's stuck at the bottom. Every word struck like a hammer against Tana's heart. The veins on his neck bulged, his fists trembling with fury. Tai shoved his phone right up to Tana's face, sneering. Go on, hit me, Tan. You want to. Look at you, you're boiling. Just one punch and I've got it all on camera. Let's see you talk your way out of that. Tana's breathing grew heavy, his eyes burning with a rage that could incinerate Tai on the spot. All the humiliation, the pain, the memories, the insults to his parents. Everything condensed into a single volatile moment. Tai stood there, grinning, holding his phone up like someone holding the power of life and death. Come on, poor little hero. What are you waiting for? The air grew thick, filled only with the pounding of Tana's heart and Tai's venomous laugh echoing down the narrow alley. Their argument grew louder, spilling into the yard. Inside, Han was tidying up the dinner table when she suddenly heard Tana's angry voice mixed with Tai's sharp, mocking tone. Her instincts screamed that something was wrong, and she rushed to the door. The sight before her made her heart tighten. Tan and Tai stood face to face, just steps apart. Tai was filming close to Tana's face, while Tana's was flushed red with fury, his fists clenched, eyes blazing. Tan, come inside. Han called out anxiously. Don't get involved with him. Nothing good will come of it. But Tai, seeing Han appear, only became bolder. A contemptuous smile spread across his face. Ah, you're here too? Perfect. Let me show you the true face of your poor little hero. He tilted the phone slightly toward Han, then back to Tan, his words growing more poisonous. What do you have that could keep anyone, Tan? You're dirt poor, your past is shameful. Your future's a pile of debt. Even your parents are nothing but the trash of this neighborhood. You've crossed the line, Tai. Tan growled, his breath ragged. Crossed the line? I'm just getting started. Tai lifted the phone higher, sneering. Hit me. You're already fuming. She's watching too. I'll show everyone that Tan the hero is nothing but a violent, pathetic lowlife. Han hurried over, gently grabbing Tana's arm. Tan, don't. Listen to me, go inside. He's provoking you on purpose. But it was too late. Tai's words about his parents and his past were knives twisting deep into Tana's pride. His eyes flared like a fire that had been suppressed for too long. You bastard! Tan roared like a beast pushed to its limit. In a flash he lunged at Tai. The first punch landed with a sharp thwack, sending Tai stumbling backward. His phone fell to the ground but kept recording. Tan didn't stop. All his long-buried anger exploded with every strike. Shut your mouth. Don't you dare talk about my parents. Punch after punch unleashed years of humiliation and fury. Tai, scrambling backward, shouted desperately. Keep filming. Keep filming. As if urging the phone itself to capture everything. Han intervenes. Tan. Stop. That's enough. Han rushed forward, wrapping her arms around Tan from behind, trying to pull him away. But Taun was in a blind rage, his breath ragged, his eyes bloodshot. "Taun, listen to me. If you keep going, you'll fall right into his trap," she screamed desperately. Her words snapped him back to reality. Taun froze, fists still clenched, shoulders trembling from the pent-up rage. Tai lay on the ground, blood on his lip but a victorious smirk on his face. The phone was still recording, and Tai knew he had exactly what he wanted. He picked himself up slowly, grabbed the phone, checked the footage and smirked. "Told you in the end you're no different," he hissed through his teeth. "You'll pay for those punches. I promise." He backed toward the gate, still filming the scene of Taun panting, face flushed with anger, and Han holding his arm. To him it was the perfect evidence. Outside, his motorbike was waiting with 2 henchmen. As soon as they saw him, they started the engine. Tai climbed on, glanced back at Taun one last time, a blood-stained, malicious grin on his face. "Goodbye, poor hero," he sneered before revving off. The motorbike roared, trailing dust and Tai's mocking laughter as it disappeared down the narrow alley. The yard fell eerily silent. Taun stood there, arms limp, breathing heavily. The storm had hit him so fast he hadn't had time to think, let alone stop. His eyes still burned with anger and bitterness. Han stepped closer, gently placing her hand on his arm, her voice soft but firm. "Taun, that's enough. Calm down." I couldn't hold it in, Han. He talked about my parents like that. I just couldn't." Tana's voice trembled with frustration and pain. Han nodded softly, her gaze gentle. "I know. But hitting him only gave him exactly what he wanted. Don't you see? He set this all up from the start." Taun lowered his head, his shoulders heavy with the crushing weight of truth. He had walked right into Tai's trap. All his restraint had shattered in just a few seconds of rage. Han tugged lightly at his arm, leading him toward the house. "Come inside. Don't stay out here anymore. We'll find a way to deal with this. But first, you need to calm down." Taun glanced down the alley where Tai had disappeared, his fists tightening before he slowly nodded. His steps were heavy, but the warmth of Han's voice began to soothe the furious flames inside him. After Tai left, Taun and Han quietly returned to the house, the atmosphere slightly heavy. Han set the table again, trying to bring back a sense of normalcy to help Taun calm down. The simple dinner was just the 3 of them, Han, Taun, and little Tom, but it was warm and familiar. Tom sat beside his mom, cheerfully chattering about stories from school, trying to break the silence in the room. Taun sat across from them, his expression still carrying traces of fatigue, but he seemed much calmer now. Han gently placed a piece of fish in his bowl and softly said, "Eat. Don't overthink it. We'll find a way to deal with what happened. What matters now is that you stay calm." Taun nodded slightly, glancing at the mother and son. A warmth rose in his chest. After everything that had happened, at least he still had a place like this to return to. A place where he wasn't alone. The meal was halfway through when Han's phone suddenly rang. She quickly wiped her hands and picked it up. "Hello, I'm listening." On the other end was a neighbor from the boarding house row. "Han, did you hear? Anna's been sick and lying at home since this morning. I went to knock, but she's too weak to open the door. I'm worried, so I'm calling you." Han's eyes widened in shock and she jumped to her feet. Why didn't she call anyone? "Sister, please wait there. I'll be right over." She hung up and turned to Taun, her face filled with concern. "Anna's really sick. The neighbor just told me. I need to go check on her. She lives alone. There's no one to look after her." Taun immediately nodded, without hesitation. "Yeah, go. I'll stay here and watch Tom for you." Tom looked up with curious eyes. "Mom, where are you going?" "I'm going to see Auntie Ann, she's sick. You stay home and be good, okay? Uncle Taun will be here with you," Han said gently, stroking his hair. Taun smiled and patted Tom's head. "Don't worry, kiddo. I'll guard the place. No one's kidnapping you on my watch." Tom giggled and waved his hands. "I'm not scared." Seeing them like that softened Han's heart. For a brief moment, the scene felt strangely peaceful, like a small, simple but warm family. She quickly cleared the table, grabbed a thin jacket, and turned back to remind Taun, "If Anna's really sick, I might stay for a while to take care of her. You and Tom just relax here, don't wait up for me." "Don't worry. Just focus on your friend," Taun replied firmly. Han gave him a grateful smile, then hurried off down the small alley. The soft yellow streetlights cast a warm glow on her figure, making the scene feel both ordinary and familiar. Inside, Tom busied himself with his toys while Tan leaned back in his chair, silently gazing out the window. Even though more trouble was clearly ahead, this moment felt oddly meaningful, as if life was slowly opening up a new chapter, quiet but profound. The next morning, the sky was clear and blue. Sunlight filtered through the trees, bathing the peaceful countryside in warm light. As usual, Han woke up early. She tied her hair neatly, put on an old long-sleeved shirt, gathered her tools, and walked alone into the bamboo grove near her house to cut a few stalks. She planned to use them to repair the porch roof and the corner of the chicken coop, which had long been rotting. Her footsteps echoed softly on the damp, dewy path. The sounds of birds and the creaking of bamboo in the morning breeze created a serene, simple atmosphere. After days of tension, breathing in the fresh air made her feel much more at ease. "Once I finish this, the house will look neat again," she murmured to herself, skillfully selecting mature bamboo stalks and cutting them carefully. Completely absorbed in her work, Han had no idea that somewhere else, a serious storm was already brewing. That very morning, Tai had submitted the video he filmed, along with an official complaint, to the local police. In his statement, he described Tan as a man who deliberately assaulted and caused injury, adding several exaggerated details to make the situation seem more severe. The video was cleverly edited. It only showed the part where Tan lunged at him and kept punching, while all of Tai's earlier provocations and insults were deleted. When the clip spread through the neighborhood group, all anyone saw was a hot-headed man attacking someone, while Tai appeared to be the helpless victim. The authorities quickly took action. By late morning, a team of police officers arrived at Han's house, where Tan was still staying to watch over Tom. At that moment, Tan had just finished helping Tom with breakfast and was cleaning up when there was a loud knock at the door. He opened it to find two police officers standing outside, their expressions stern. "You're Tan, correct? Please come with us to the station to clarify the incident from yesterday." Tan froze for a second. Incident? You've been accused of assault. We have video evidence. Please cooperate so we can take your statement as soon as possible, one officer said firmly. Tan immediately understood what was happening. His face paled. This was exactly the trap Tai had set from the very beginning. He didn't resist, only nodded and glanced back at the house, where little Tom stood at the doorway, confused. "Uncle, who are those people?" the boy asked softly, his voice uncertain. Tan forced a reassuring smile. "It's okay, buddy. I'll be back soon." Then he calmly followed the officers into the police car. The vehicle quietly rolled down the alley, leaving behind the empty yard and the boy's bewildered gaze. Meanwhile, back in the bamboo grove, Han continued tying the bundles of bamboo together, sweat beading on her forehead. She had no idea that something serious had just unfolded at home. The morning breeze rustled through the bamboo leaves peacefully, a sharp contrast to the storm awaiting her. The morning in the bamboo forest ended later than expected. Carrying a bundle of bamboo on her shoulder, Han walked step by step down the familiar dirt road toward home. Her heart felt strangely light. After all the tension of the past few days, it seemed like everything was finally returning to normal. "I'll make bamboo shoot soup with dried fish when I get home. Tom's going to love that," she smiled to herself. But as soon as she approached the gate, she sensed something was off. The yard was empty. Tan and Tom weren't outside playing like usual. The front door was slightly ajar, and the silence inside was almost eerie. Han set the bamboo bundle down and hurried into the house. "Tom? Tan? Where are you two?" From the small room, Tom came running out, his face pale and tear-streaked, eyes red from crying. "Mom!" Some men in uniforms came. They talked to Uncle Tan and then took him away. "I was so scared." Han froze, her heart pounding wildly. "What?" "They took Uncle Tan." "Where?" I don't know. They said they were the police." Tom sniffled. The moment she heard police, Han's hands began to tremble. Everything hit her like a sudden storm. She understood immediately. Tai had made his move. He'd reported Tan, and now Tan was officially in trouble. "No, it can't have happened this fast," she muttered, her face turning pale. Without taking a moment to rest, she quickly locked the house, asked the neighbor to watch over Tom, and ran down the road toward the commune police station, the most likely place Tan had been taken. Her footsteps were fast and desperate, her heart racing like it might burst out of her chest. I have to find out what's going on. I can't let Tan take the fall for this. I have to do something, she told herself between breaths. The wind tangled her hair, but she didn't care. In her mind, she could only see the image of Tan being taken away in handcuffs, and Ty's triumphant grin from the night before, a grin that sent chills down her spine. When she arrived, there was already a crowd outside the police station. As she stepped into the courtyard, she immediately noticed Ty's motorbike parked outside. Her heart tightened. Just as she expected, he had arrived first. A security officer at the gate stepped forward. "Can I help you, ma'am?" I want to ask about a man named Tan. Did the police bring him here this morning?" Han asked between heavy breaths. The officer checked the logbook and nodded slightly. "Yes. He's inside at the moment, being questioned about an assault case filed against him." "I know about that. I know everything," Han said quickly, her eyes flashing with determination. "Please let me speak to the officer in charge. I can provide testimony." This was a deliberate provocation. Tan didn't start the fight. The officer looked skeptical, but her firm attitude convinced him to let her wait in the reception room. Sitting there, Han took a deep breath, her hands clenched tightly. She knew that from this moment on, she was no longer just a bystander. She was going to fight for Tan. "Ty, you're cunning. But you didn't expect me to fight back," she thought, her gaze sharpening. Inside the interrogation room, Tan was still giving his statement. His face was composed, but his eyes were filled with worry. He had no idea that outside, a woman was racing against time to defend him. The office was small, neatly arranged, with the bright red national emblem and a slogan board reading, "Live and work according to the Constitution and the law." Sunlight streamed through the window, casting a determined glow across Han's anxious face. A young investigator stepped out and gave her a cautious look. "Are you the one who wants to provide information about this morning's case?" "Yes. My name is Han. I was there when it happened. I know exactly what went on," she answered firmly. The investigator gestured for her to sit and opened his notebook. "All right. Please calm down and tell us everything from the beginning, in as much detail as you can." Han took a deep breath and began recounting carefully. "It happened yesterday afternoon, right outside my house. Tan was there and I was inside. Ty, the man who filed the complaint, came looking for trouble. He kept provoking and insulting Tan, even dragging his parents into it to humiliate him. I heard the commotion and ran outside. I saw Ty clearly trying to provoke him, with his phone camera already recording as if planned. He kept spewing cruel words, shoving his shoulder into Tan and holding the phone in his face to make him snap. Eventually, Tan lost control and attacked him." The investigator listened attentively, taking constant notes. "Are you sure Ty started it?" "I'm absolutely sure. His eyes, his tone, every word he said. There's no mistaking it." Tan tried to hold back. "I was the one who pulled him away." "Do you have any evidence?" he asked. Han hesitated briefly, biting her lip, then shook her head slightly. "Ty deleted and edited the video. But neighbors probably heard everything. The alley is small and the argument was loud. There could be witnesses." Her eyes hardened with resolve. "I'm willing to testify. I won't let Tan be falsely accused like this." The investigator observed her for a moment, then nodded. "Understood. Your testimony is important. We'll take your statement and call in neighbors to verify. If it's proven that the other party deliberately provoked him, we'll handle this differently. However," he added seriously, "the opposing side currently has video evidence, and public pressure is strong. We'll follow proper procedure, so please cooperate fully." "I understand. I'll do everything I can," Han replied firmly. As she left the office, she happened to pass by the interrogation area. Through a small glass window, she saw Tan sitting across from the investigator, his posture upright but his expression heavy. At that moment, Tan looked up and met her eyes. No words were needed, he understood. "She's here. She believes in me." Han pressed her lips together and gave a small firm nod like a silent promise. "You're not alone. I'll help you through this. On the way home, her mind was in turmoil. She knew that if she didn't act fast, Taun could be crushed by Ty's lies. After a moment of thought, she called someone she trusted, Dan. The phone rang only once before his warm, familiar voice answered. Hello, Han. What's going on? You sound upset. Holding back tears, she spoke quickly. On Dan, the police took Taun. Ty set him up, he edited the video and accused him of assault. I'm scared. If we don't do something, Taun will take all the blame. Dan's voice grew serious. I heard bits and pieces already. That bastard Ty, he's capable of anything. Calm down. I won't let Taun get crushed by this. Not long after, Dan arrived at Han's house. Seeing her waiting anxiously at the gate, he stepped off his bike, his eyes resolute. Let's go. We need to act fast. If Ty has video evidence he didn't film alone, there must have been accomplices. Maybe we can find the original footage. Han's eyes lit up with hope. She quickly arranged for the neighbor to look after Tom, then hopped on the bike with Dan. As they sped down the narrow village road, the evening light stretched long shadows behind them. While driving, Dan laid out their plan. I'll ask some contacts around the market to see if anyone happened to witness or record the incident from afar. You should talk to the nearby households. The argument was loud, so someone must have heard. If we're lucky, we'll find witnesses or even another video angle. Han nodded repeatedly. Yes, exactly. I'm sure the neighbors heard it all. As long as someone is willing to testify, Taun won't have to bear the blame alone. Don't worry. We'll get to the bottom of this, Dan said firmly, gripping the handlebars. They stopped at the alley where the incident happened. Dusk was settling, and a few streetlights cast a soft glow over the old houses. Han and Dan exchanged a glance. They both knew this wouldn't be easy. Ty had surely prepared well to cover his tracks. But inside Han, her determination had never been stronger. Beside her, Dan walked forward confidently, his voice steady. We'll find the truth. Taun won't stay in custody for long. I promise you. Han nodded, her eyes hardening with resolve. This battle wouldn't be easy, but she wasn't about to let Ty win. Backhand index pointing right, will Han manage to clear Tana's name? Or will she be crushed by Ty's powerful backing? Sparkles, stay tuned for the next video.
Xin chào mọi người, rất vui được gặp lại mọi người trong video của mình. Chúc mọi người có một ngày mới vui vẻ, hạnh phúc và có một ngày làm việc tràn đầy năng lượng. Hiện tại kênh Diệu Hân của mình đang kể câu chuyện về người mẹ đơn thân Diệu Hân. Và trong suốt thời gian qua đã được mọi người ủng hộ rất là nhiều. Mình hy vọng rằng câu chuyện này sẽ mang đến niềm vui cho mọi người. Và mình cũng rất là hy vọng mọi người sẽ đồng hành với mình trong thời gian sắp tới để câu chuyện của người mẹ đơn thân Diệu Hân ngày càng có những tình tiết hay và hấp dẫn hơn cho mọi người xem. Mọi người nhớ ủng hộ kênh cho mình bằng cách like, share và nhớ bật chuông báo để nhận thông báo khi mình đăng video mới nhất nha. Cảm ơn mọi người đã xem hết video của mình. Mình rất mong được sự ủng hộ của mọi người. Hẹn gặp lại mọi người ở video lần sau nha.